When you spend your whole school career tearing people down, don't be surprised when the universe sends someone to tear back, even if that someone is dead. Greetings, ghouls, and welcome to another dive into horror television. Tonight we explore the haunting hours, The Wrong Number, and we're going to meet some of the meanest girls yet. We open to two best friends, Taylor and Stephanie, strutting down a high school hallway. Stephanie bumps into Adriana, and the besties are mean to her for no reason. Adriana's phone broke, but they couldn't care less. Later on, Stephanie and Taylor are blasting music in Steph's apartment. Her neighbor, who sounds old and sick, bangs on the wall and tells her to turn down the music. Stephanie refuses and shouts back at her that no one cares, you old hag. The older woman, Mrs. Blazevich, comes over and rings the doorbell. The mean girls answer and tell her to kick rocks. They're going to play music as loud as they want, and there's nothing she can do about it. You can tell this is a frequent occurrence, and Mrs. Blazevich has had enough. She promises to teach them both to be nice girls. They try to close the door in her face, but Mrs. Blazevich stops them. The doorknob freezes, which surprises Steph, and then she gets her hair pulled. Stephanie swears that the older woman will pay. That might not be the best idea, girl, but whatever. Mrs. Blazevich is back at home and begins receiving prank phone calls. Stephanie calls her an old hag again and hangs up. She calls back several times using a different voice. Mrs. Blazevich swears there will be no mercy for mean girls. The next day, Stephanie is leaving her apartment when she notices paramedics outside Mrs. Blazevich's apartment. They suspect that she died. All Stephanie can think about is looking cute for the paramedic boy that she fancies. The next day in school, Stephanie is making fun of Adriana again. She's tweeting pictures and calling her ugly. Then Stephanie receives text from a blocked number, warning her. She was told to be a nice girl, yet she still acts like a menace. She gets another message saying to fix herself, not her hair. It's like someone is watching her and then texting. She gets a phone call from the strange number, and it's just static. So she calls it back, and the phone in Mrs. Blazevich's apartment starts ringing. They hope it's just a coincidence. Then Taylor's phone starts ringing, so she answers. It's more static, but then screeching at the end. They call back the number and hear a bump in Mrs. B's apartment. Taylor has had enough and wants to go home. She's genuinely scared, but her bestie is still being a bad girl. Stephanie has a spare key to Mrs. B's apartment and forces Taylor to go inside to explore. They hear a wheeze. There's candles lit on fire. They go into her bedroom and call the strange number from before. Mrs. B's phone starts ringing. They notice the cord is already cut, so there's no way it should be ringing. They keep looking around and find a jar with Stephanie's butterfly clip, but she can't open it before hearing another wheeze. They decide to jet out of there. The next day in class, Stephanie receives more cryptic picture messages from the blocked number. There's an eye and a picture of Stephanie. Then a huge spider crawls from behind the phone and she freaks out. Stephanie throws both of their cell phones in the trash and then goes to ask Adriana a question. She isn't in the mood to help the mean girls, but she caves in. Adriana has an uncle who can help them. She gives them an address. On their way out of the library, they get a call from the library phone, and it sounds just like Mrs. B. So they go to Adriana's uncle, and in his trunk he has a big jar of herbs that they must spread around their bed at night before they go to sleep. Stephanie spreads the smelly herbs all around her, but she doesn't notice it when the jar with the clip inside starts to open up by itself. Mrs. B appears and says they haven't learned their lesson yet. The girls lock themselves in the bathroom, but Mrs. B sends in giant spiders to scare them. Stephanie takes the shower curtain off and uses it to cover Mrs. B and jumps her. They try to run out the apartment door, but it's locked. Taylor swears that she won't do anything else mean ever again. Mrs. B asks Stephanie to promise she won't be mean or call her anymore. Stephanie doesn't have niceness in her heart. She can't convince anyone that she'll be nice. Taylor begs her friend to cut it out, but Steph still has an attitude. Mrs. B opens the door in hopes that the girls have learned their lesson. Then Stephanie calls Mrs. B a disgusting old hag, and the door swings closed. Mrs. B takes a video of Stephanie and it sucks her into the phone. She disappears from this realm and finds herself in another. Mrs. B tells Taylor to get out and she runs. Adriana gets the video sent to her phone. Mrs. B was her grandma all along. With Stephanie trapped in a video, Adriana makes the call to delete the video, and now she's finally rid of Stephanie and her evil antics once and for all. The episode is a critique of fake morality, the kind of niceness weaponized for social power rather than empathy. Stephanie treats kindness like a costume, something she can put on when cornered, and rip off once danger passes. The episode shows how performative apologies hold no real moral weight. When Stephanie takes back her apology, the supernatural world reacts as if she has broken a spiritual contract. Her punishment isn't just horror, it's poetic justice for a heart that refuses to change. Mrs. B isn't merely haunting out of vengeance. She acts as a supernatural evaluator. She warns before she harms. She punishes only after a moral test. She distinguishes between the salvageable and the irredeemable. The haunting is structured not around fear but moral judgment. Most horror stories aim to terrify by destroying the protagonist. This one seeks to transform the world. Taylor is spared because she can grow. Stephanie is erased because she refuses growth. Adriana gains power because she was truthful and compassionate. Mrs. B fulfills her unfinished business by correcting a moral imbalance. Everyone ends the episode in a different moral position. The theme is not merely retribution, it is ethical equilibrium. Stephanie being trapped in her phone is a contemporary take on the classic idea of being trapped in paintings, mirrors, dolls, or other objects. The phone becomes a prison or a coffin. Her identity, once inflated through cruelty, becomes nothing but corrupted data. It's a commentary on the dangers of identity mediated through technology, the permanence of digital harm, and the way cruelty circulates across virtual spaces. This one was directed by Neil Fernley, who directed 25 other episodes of The Haunting Hour, and has a real talent for it. The writer was Eric Patterson, who wrote some truly remarkable and memorable episodes of this show. Taylor was played by Sarah Dugdale, and Stephanie by Debbie Ryan, and both ladies went on to have flourishing acting careers, which I'm happy to see. Karen Konoval played the iconic Mrs. B and is still working in film to this day. I'll rate this episode a 7.5 out of 10 for the show The Haunting Hour, and until next time, remember to be well and stay spooky.